My name is Arman2, and I'm a support representative here at SimplifyMD with the Digital Chart Room. Today we'll be going over all the aspects of the installation which will require you to connect it to your network. First, we must make sure that all components of the package are stored in a cool, dry place and that you have access to power, as well as a wired network connection and a dedicated analog fax line. First, we'll begin by connecting the UPS battery backup unit, ensuring that it is plugged into the wall and turned on. Once we have connected the UPS to the wall, we will go ahead and plug in the server into the UPS power supply. Once we've connected the server to the UPS, we will then connect the Ethernet network cable into the back of the server. This Ethernet network connection will then connect to a port in your wired network. Once we've connected the Ethernet port, we will then connect one of the two backup USB drives. We'll plug in the power supply of the USB drive into our UPS, which will also allow for surge protection. We'll then use the attached USB cable, which will connect the USB backup drive to the server. Once we've connected the USB device to the server, as well as connected its power supply, we will then go ahead and power on the unit. Once we've connected the USB backup drives, we will then work on connecting the fax modem. You will have received either one of two, a US Robotics or a Multi-Tech fax modem along with your package. First, we'll go over connecting the US Robotics fax modem. Included with the US Robotics fax modem is a power cable, which we'll use to attach it to the fax modem itself. We'll then plug the power end into our UPS device, also allowing for surge protection with the fax modem. Once we've got the fax modem connected, we'll take the serial cable that is provided in the package and we'll connect one end to the fax modem and the other end into the server. Once we've got the serial cable connected to the back of the server, we'll work on connecting the analog fax line to the fax modem itself. One end of the analog fax line will be connected to the wall where your fax line or fax number is coming in from. The other end will then plug into the back of the US Robotics fax modem. We'll plug it into the end that is further towards the corner of the fax modem itself. There's also a picture of a wall jack that is included to indicate where the line should be coming in. Now we'll go over connecting the Multi-Tech fax modem to the SimplifyMD appliance. We'll first connect the power to the back of the Multi-Tech fax modem. Once we've got that connected, we will supply power to it by connecting it to our UPS unit. Once we've connected the Multi-Tech fax modem to the power outlet, we will then connect the Multi-Tech fax modem to the SimplifyMD appliance using the provided serial cable. The larger end of the serial cable will go into the back of the Multi-Tech fax modem. The smaller end of the serial cable will plug into the back of the SimplifyMD appliance. Once we've got both the power and the serial cable connected, we'll work on connecting the analog fax line. The other end of the line will be coming in straight from your wall outlet. On the Multi-Tech fax modem, we will go ahead and plug it in to the slot that is closer to the edge of the modem. The slot that it is being plugged into also says line underneath it to indicate that that's where the fax line should be coming in. Once we've got all three of those things connected, we can go ahead and power on the Multi-Tech fax modem by flicking the switch on the right side of the modem. Once we've got all those things connected, we will take the provided USB keyboard and we will also attach that to the server. Once we're done connecting everything, we will then have to connect a local office monitor to the SimplifyMD appliance. We'll also have to supply power to that monitor. Once we've connected the monitor, we will power on the SimplifyMD appliance and allow it to boot to the login prompt. The appliance comes fully installed and pre-configured, and your SimplifyMD digital chart room is ready for use.